What's up, y'all? One Piece One Life here, and guys, I have a question. Do y'all rock with the current cover story, Yamato's Inari Pilgrimage or whatever it's called? Because I'll tell you, for me, I sure as hell don't. I feel like we're just lollygagging around Wano and spending far too much time on story beats that could have happened much sooner. Like, it genuinely makes me nostalgic for cover stories that we've gotten in the past, especially pre-time skip ones. Then it also made me realize something. A lot of people actually don't know about the cover stories like that, either because they were too focused on the manga or they were anime onlys. So I want to start an endeavor just going through every cover story, explaining what they are, what happens in them, and how they may tie into the climax of the story. Now most people would want to go in order, and that makes sense, but I'm saying screw that, because I want to talk about perhaps the dumbest character in all of One Piece, Gedatsu. So for the very first installment of the cover story review, we're going to be looking at Gedatsu's accidental blue sea life. And y'all lock in, cause this is a funny one. But before we get into it, guys, y'all know what to do. Like the video, subscribe to the channel for more One Piece content just like this, and share it around with all your friends who love the series. You know what we always say here, let's get it going. And make sure you subscribe to me and my boys over at CSY. Also, random side note, but this is the last time you're gonna see me in this room, guys. I'm moving out. I'm about to be a senior in college. Oh my god. But a lot of milestones happened in this room, so thank you guys for continuing to rock with me. Now this cover story spans from chapter 314 to 348 for a total of 32 installments. We start off pretty peacefully. We see a shot of birds flying through the sky, and then high above the blue sea, something comes plunging through the clouds. While it's not revealed until a bit later, obviously, this is none other than Gedatsu himself, who fell after his defeat at the hands of Chopper. Now if you don't remember, during the Skypiea arc, Gedatsu was defeated by Chopper, but he landed in a swamp and got stuck there. He tried to use these milky dial boot shoes things that he got that kind of act like rocket boots, trying to use that to propel himself out. However, because Gedatsu is, and I can't stress this enough, extremely stupid, he didn't realize that he was upside down. So when he activated his rocket boost, he instead flew downward and past the white seas towards the blue sea. And I'm telling you now, get ready for a whole lot of stupidity. This brother literally forgot to breathe one time. So he lands on this island with a bunch of random holes in the ground, and then he's dug up by this old man. So the old man introduces himself to Gedatsu as Goro, and he tells him that his dream is to create a hot spring island by tapping into the island's hot springs and, you know, creating some sort of touristy type deal. Gedatsu's like, well, okay. Since I neither can nor want to go back to Skypiea, I guess I'm living here now. And as my first order of business, I'm going to help you make this hot spring dream you got into reality. Goro's like, I mean, sure, you can stay with me and we can work something out, work on the hot springs together. And so they get to work mining with axes just to like try and tap into this hot springs or whatever. And y'all, Gedatsu's so stupid. Once while he's working, he's struggling a bit, and it turns out that once again, he's forgotten how to breathe. Cause you got Goro just being like, Master Gedatsu, you know you gotta breathe, right? Like, what are you doing? Then they stop for lunch, and this guy is trying to feed himself through his ear. Then later on, his eyes are strained because he forgets that he needs to blink. He forgets how to blink. Who forgets how to blink? I'm just looking at it, I'm like, who raised this guy? This is like trying to teach a single-celled organism how to do nuclear physics, or a Republican how to vote intelligently. Damn near impossible. But they end up making decent progress, and at night, Gedatsu and Goro relax together in a drum bath. I did a bit of research because I actually didn't know what that was, and it's mostly an anime thing, but essentially, you just get a drum or something else like that kind of looks like one, fill it up with water, and light a fire underneath it, and it's supposed to be like calming and cool. But anyway, the next day, they continue to dig, right? And Gedatsu is, for some reason, digging parallel to the ground. Goro's just like, you know, you can also just stand up like a regular human or, well, whatever you are. But at that moment, Gedatsu's pickaxe strikes something hard. Pause. The duo step back as something huge unearths itself. And then they're standing face to face with the dirt boss. A giant mole also wielding a pickaxe, which considers itself to be the island's top excavator. And look, If you ever told me that One Piece as a series would have a giant mole in a hard hat arguing with an old man over who can dig better, I'd tell you that you're probably insane for loving this series. I love this series. However, despite its intimidating presence, Gedatsu still one-shots it because, well, at the end of the day, it's still just a regular animal. And after that, it actually ends up helping them with their digging. They literally modify its helmet to become a cockpit so that the two of them can just sit inside and chill while it's actually digging through the ground. So the mole gets to digging way faster than Gedatsu and Goro ever could, and eventually it actually taps into a well of water and flushes the water out as they all start celebrating. Then at that moment, a large baboon carrying lumber comes out of the forest and claims itself as the forest boss. And then Gedatsu one-punches it because reasons. The baboon also becomes Gedatsu's subordinate, and so they task it with protecting the hot springs while they continue to dig. Now this is where stuff gets crazy. And yes, despite the extremely stupid winged person one-punch manning giant animals, this is where it gets crazy. Cause they dig for so long, they somehow end up in Alabasta. And they pop up right next to Koza. Now, if you don't remember Koza, he was the rebel army leader during the events of the Alabasta saga, as well as Vivi's childhood friend and the son of Old Man Toto. And I'm pretty sure he almost died or something, but well, the war's over now, so he's just chilling. Well, as it turns out, Goro is in fact Toto's little brother and Koza's uncle. So then Koza agrees to helping out with the final makeshift parts of actually making the hot spring itself. Somehow, even Karu, Vivi's pet duck, who is on vacation, ends up helping out. I didn't even know you could take a vacation from being the beloved pet of a royal princess, but here we are. Then, to their pleasant surprise, by the time that they get back to the hot spring, they see that the forest boss and his little monkey helpers actually ended up taking the initiative and just built up a resort and inn for people to stay at. With that, the hot springs are officially open for business, and they create a large tunnel passageway that allows people from Alabasta to have direct access to the island, which they named the island Ukari after Gedatsu's catchphrase. Then, to help ferry people from Alabasta to Ukari, they enlist the help of Hasami, the pervy crab. Y'all remember him, right? The crab that the crew used to cross the Alabasta desert that would only help because Nami and Vivi were in bras? So it's been a few days and the hot springs are doing incredibly well. So well, in fact, that Vivi herself and her personal retainers came to enjoy it. So we see in the men's bath, there's Toto, Gora, and Koza, who are joined by Chaka, Igaram, and Pell, who, instead of being dead, is enjoying a nice relaxing steam bath. Karu and the other super spot Bilducks are also there, and even Eyelashes the camel pulls up. And in the women's bath, Vivi and Terracotta, who is Igaram's wife, are enjoying it too, with some kung fu dugongs there for good measure. So Gedatsu is at the front desk real happy with himself. He's like, yes, now I am the boss man of the Blue Sea. And then this idiot, ooh, he's so stupid. He realizes after the fact that no, actually, you're a bath man. He realizes that he got his own priorities mixed up in his own head, but he's low-key in too deep now. So Gedatsu just lives out the rest of his days as the co-owner of this hot spring. I don't know why I said that like he's dead. As far as we know, he's still there. Now, how does this tie into the larger story? I don't think it does. Wait, idea. Imagine how now if Cobra's dead and Vivi is MIA, at least as far as the people of Alabasta think, Gedatsu becomes the new leader of Alabasta. I mean, obviously you're inclined to say that that's crazy. Why would he? But I mean, why wouldn't they trust him? He's been a clean businessman for 2 years now. Or maybe, okay, you think it makes more sense for Koza to be entrusted with this job. Gedatsu should at least be part of the, talking committee or whatever. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, Oda. You need to bring this dumbass back. So there you have it, y'all. For anyone who was wondering what the dumbest character in One Piece was doing after his defeat, he's been beating up animals and forcing them to work for his unlicensed bathhouse. But what do you guys think about Gedatsu's story, y'all? How do you think that it ties into the larger narrative of One Piece? Did you enjoy it while it was coming out? Were you even a One Piece reader back when it was coming out? Let me know all this and more in the comments below. Now that is the end of the video, y'all, but before we go, like it, subscribe, and share it around with all your friends who love the series, or anime and manga in general. Remember, I'm trying to build a community, but I need your help to do it. That's gonna be all from me. I'll catch you on the next one, and always remember, One Piece, one life. Wow, really is the end of an era here. I mean, I'm pre-recording this, so by the time y'all see this, I'm not even gonna be where I go to college. But shout out to the new setup, whatever it looks like.